What's happening, everybody? JayShockblast here, and check it out. We have the final piece of DLC available now with LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2. As you can see when we go into Manage Game and Add-on Content, lots of DLC this year. We have the Agents of Atlas, Champions, Classic Guardians of the Galaxy, Cloak and Dagger, Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp, Infinity War, Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Out of Time, and the Runaways. What an amazing amount of content added on to the game after the fact, and it makes me all hyped up for LEGO DC Supervillains and what they're going to do with their season pack. So we got a ton of new characters. I haven't counted them out yet, and there is still the possibility we get a last, possibly free DLC, which includes characters that weren't included in the game. That is never a guarantee. We usually refer to it as the thank you pack. Maybe we get one, maybe we don't. I don't know. They obviously haven't announced it yet. Hopefully we do. But for all intents and purposes, this is the end of the season pass. And as you can see, everything from here down is new stuff that was added to the game. So let's start right here with part of the classic Guardians of the Galaxy pack. We have Alita O'Gord, one of the original Guardians, and she does lots of cool stuff. Pretty cool. Definitely brings some interesting stuff to the character creator. Next up, we have Charlie 27, and he is a big fig that looks pretty cool. So I'm not going to go through as thoroughly as I have in past videos. We're just going to show them all off. Another member is Major Victory, and I think he's been in the Classic, and I think he actually has been in Guardians 3000. So Major Victory with his Captain America shield. Next up we have Martinex. So he's another classic member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Almost looks like Silver Surfer, so you could probably use his head and make your own little Silver Surfer. He just wouldn't have a surfboard. So next up, as part of that pack, we have, this was Nikki. Gun and her Ghost Rider style hair. And then we have pretty much the star... Oops, wrong one. Pretty much the two stars of the pack. We have Starhawk, and we have Starhawk. And we have Yondu. Not necessarily the Yondu Undanta. This is the original OG Yondu before he became all Michael Rooker. So he's got his bow and arrow instead of his little, whistly thing, as my grandfather called it. And then you have Starhawk, the non-Stallone version. This is Stakar O'Gord, I believe. And yeah, he looks pretty dope. Obviously, he flies. So that was the classic Guardians of the Galaxy pack. We also had, as sort of a pre-order bonus, we had the Out of Time character pack. This was, I think you had to digitally pre-order, and it was early access. So we have Captain Assyria, which is another version of Captain America. He's more of the Egyptian persuasion. Then you have Hulk 2099, who is just lethal, and I think a lot of people obviously like their Hulks. Kind of looks like Blanca from Street Fighter, I believe it is. So there you have that. Then we have what was this, Daredevil Noir? Yeah, Daredevil Noir. Really underappreciated version of Daredevil. Didn't get to use him a whole ton, but he looks pretty dope. Definitely has a pretty cool face mask. And then we had another underappreciated one, Iron Man 2020. He looks like your stereotypical 90s era kind of character created. This is what they thought the future was going to look like, folks. 2020 is 2 years away, and this is what they thought we would be dealing with. I want to kind of wait for him to show his face. His helmet will pop up from time to time, and yeah, your Fu Manchu Tony Stark. Not even, it's just a mustache. Mustache to a question. Anyway, that's Iron Man 2020. You have Lady Spider. And you also have Nosferatu. Two characters that, you know, whatever.
Hope it's safe.
Not really a big deal for me personally, Nosferatu especially. Lady Spider, I think she's becoming a little bit more prominent recently. And I think with these, I think we should be able to see maybe an Infinity War Iron Man, or Spider-Man I should say, Iron Spider, hopefully as part of maybe a thank you DLC. So there is the end of the Out of Time character. Oh, no, sorry. Warmaker. He's part of that same crew as Greenskin Smash Troll. And, you know, I guess he adds stuff. I don't know. This is probably the Out of Time character pack. Obviously, the Daredevil, the Hulk, the Iron Man, maybe even the Captain of Syria, I think people liked. But everything else, meh. Alright, so next up we have Agents of Atlas. And, Gorilla Man. Yeah. Gotta always get your animal characters in here. You also have Jimmy Whoop. Tag. Whoop. Tag. Yeah, so Jimmy Woo. I feel like I saw him pop up recently in a comic. I don't remember exactly which one, but I feel like he came up recently. Here's M11. The first time I saw M11, I was like super excited, hoping it was Darkhawk. Not even close to Darkhawk, by the way. And Darkhawk ended up being in the game. Next up, you have Uranian, who... you know, they like going way off script when they do some of these characters, and they certainly accomplished that with this Agents of Atlas character pack. It was only 5 characters, but you know.
Even if your actions aren't technically authorized by Alchemist.
So that was Venus. Next up, you have the Guardians Volume 2 pack.
Yeah.
And we have another Rocket Raccoon. And we have another Star-Lord. This is their Ravager version of their gear. So it's basically Rocket and Star-Lord, just in their Ravager kind of costumes. So I think a lot of people, you know, I guess you kind of like that. It's definitely a cool, different look. But that is not really what everybody was looking for out of this, especially as far as Ravengers are concerned. We got Kraglin. Sean Gunn, and we also got Tulk, and they all had like interesting animations. And Kraglin, this is the version where he has Yondu's little whistle stick. That's just what I'm going to call it. I'm sure it has an official name. I'm calling it a whistle stick. Next up, we got Stakar O'Gourd, because everybody wanted to have Sylvester Stallone in Lego form. I think they did a nice ode to Starhawk. And, I mean, that's essentially who Stakar is Starhawk. I think they did a nice ode to him, but kind of had like a modernized version. So that was definitely a pretty cool addition. And then you have Ego. So Ego is obviously our Kurt Russell. And he turns into a little globe. Again, an ode to Ego, the living planet. I don't know. I still really don't know how I feel about Ego and the way he was portrayed. I guess it makes sense. It's not really the way I would have done it personally, but... we have Ego. So 2 massive 80s icons, Kurt Russell and Sylvester Stallone, being the old guys of the Marvel Universe. So there you have it. So that brings us to the end of the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 pack. Next up, we had the Champions DLC. And obviously with the Champions DLC, I was pretty excited to get a non-champion, Kate Bishop. Even now, they haven't put her in the Champions. They put her in the West Coast Avengers. So, not entirely. I don't even think she's worked with the Champions, if I'm being honest. Then we have the totally awesome Hulk and Amadeus Cho. They did a really great job with this transformation, and obviously with Totally Awesome Hulk, I definitely think they really got him good, I feel. You know, this is definitely a great minifig, or big fig, I guess you would say. And honestly, Kate Bishop looks really good too. They definitely got her look really well. She was obviously in the last game. I really still don't understand why they chose Kate Bishop. Because it's not even like they reused the Kate Bishop from the last game. I believe this is actually a full-blown new design. I don't know if maybe they got some intel that she was gonna be in Champions, and the story changed when you know, the Hawk guy and Kate Bishop story ended. But alas, it is what it is. One character that has joined the Champions is Ironheart, and also joining the Champions is Nadia Pym, the Wasp. So Nadia Pym and Ironheart have both been Avengers, and you know, I think they kind of failed. I don't want to say failed, because the characters, I think, have meant something to some people, especially Ironheart, but I don't think they really did as well as Marvel would have wanted with the Avengers. So now we have them in Champions, and honestly, they really do fit what Champions is trying to do. You've got Riri Williams here. I still don't like her first name. I wish they had gone with something else, but she is a pretty cool character nonetheless, and her Ironheart costume is pretty dope. Same thing with Nadia Pym. Nadia is like the long-lost daughter of Hank Pym with some Russian lady. She got abducted and came up kind of in the same program as Black Widow. So, yeah. But this is one of like 3 or 4 Wasps we now have. We now have the movie version of the Wasp. We have this Nadia Pym, and then we have, you know, the Jane Van Dyne classic Wasp. So, also included here, we have Vision, the synthetic daughter of Vision, and their dog Sparky. So, yeah, Sparky is actually pretty cool. Sparky flies, and it's an interesting version of Viv they went with. They went with like her sweater look, and I actually like this minifig. It actually came out pretty good. The Vision story it's definitely interesting. It won all sorts of awards, so definitely check it out. Sparky here catches Captain America's shield, which is dope. Definitely a very unexpected addition to the Champions DLC. They love doing their pets, and I think it's pretty cool. You know, have Sparky and Lockjaw go out there and play. So there you have it, Vision and Sparky. And rounding out the Champions DLC, we have my buddy Nova. Now, unfortunately, this is the Sam Alexander version of Nova, and if you follow my channel at all, you know that I am Team Rich Rider all the way. Now that Rich Rider is back, I'm okay with the fact that, you know, Sam Alexander exists, especially since they're almost like they're different kinds of Novas. You know, Sam is the black helmet style, and Rich is the actual classic Nova Centurion style, and he is still sort of Nova Prime. I love what they're doing with him, letting him kind of come back a little slowly, working him in with this Infinity storyline, and also having him work with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Should be interesting to see where they go from there. But yeah, glad to have Rich back, and I'm okay with Sam being here. I actually have grown to like him a little bit because of Champions. So, last, as part of the Champions DLC, we have Moon Girl. I don't know if it's going to let me do Devil Dinosaur in here. Oop. Yeah, there we go. Devil Dinosaur. Now, I think for a lot of people with the Champions DLC, they are pretty excited to have at least Devil Dinosaur. Devil Dinosaur was very, very popular in LEGO Marvel's Avengers. And then I actually really like Moon Girl and her roller skates. I think they did a really cool job of, you know, kind of portraying her. She's not a character that I love by any stretch of the imagination, but I do feel like they did a really great job with her. She's actually probably one of the coolest minifigs they've done in all of the LEGO games. So there you have Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. And it'll be interesting to see how Harley Quinn's skating works in LEGO DC Supervillains. So that is the Champions DLC. And right now, next we have the Black Panther DLC from the Black Panther movie. And the first thing that I want to show off is Killmonger and Black Panther himself. Now, when this came out, I think we were all a little curious as to why Black Panther had the blue kind of stripes instead of the purple. And the reality is that, you know, there's a lot of merch that actually has those blue stripes. And I think at some point in the process, they just changed it. I think maybe originally it was supposed to be blue, and then they decided to make the kinetic energy purple like the vibranium. So I don't know for sure either way, but I can tell you that there are action figures and stuff like that out there in which he has the blue kind of stripes. So it wasn't just TT. Some of the toy manufacturers like Hasbro did it too. So one thing I will say is, you know, he does kind of light up purple with the vibranium here, which is great. And I don't remember.
What would New Ava York do without Alchemax? Probably rely on.
I don't remember if he transformed. It doesn't look it, but one guy that does transform is Eric Killmonger, who has his little swords here, and you can actually. Whoops. I absolutely love the transition that he makes when he goes between his different costume, or he goes between costuming up and costuming down. It looks amazing, just like it does in the movie, and I think they did a really, really great job with Eric Killmonger, and I think a lot of people really appreciated that. Also in this DLC pack, we have Everett K. Ross, and we have Ulysses Claw. This DLC feels like it's missing something. So Claw, I mean, these guys look great. I understand why they're both DLC characters, but I think the big question that a lot of people had with this DLC was, where is Shuri? So Everett Ross, whatever, he's just a guy in a suit. So we did get Nakia, who is Black Panther's love interest in the movie. And then we also got Okoye. But no M'Baku, no, and especially no Shuri. Very disappointing, very interesting. They definitely have a minifig for at least Shuri. They might even have one for M'Baku. I don't know. I really would have liked to have seen both of them in here. And maybe, just maybe, a thank you pack will include Shuri. I don't know. I don't know what they would do, to be honest with you. But, you know, we've seen Shuri in both Infinity War and Black Panther. And, I mean, it is cool that they did get Nakia in here. When the movie, or when the DLC came out, I was a little confused because Nakia is... She's not really a very popular character, per se. She's not a character they've used a whole ton in the Black Panther, like, especially recently. But she seemed like... It was definitely an interesting pick. But seeing how they used her in the movie makes a ton of sense. Okoye, obviously, is basically, you know, the biggest, baddest bodyguard of all time. There's no other way around it. She's pretty dope, and there you go. So that kind of wraps up the Black Panther DLC. But if you look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. One of the smaller character packs as part of the actual level packs. A lot of them had 7 characters. I mean, if you look at Champions, they had, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You know, Guardians had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So, I mean, some of them had 6, but still. It was definitely a little odd. So the next pack we have, we are going to go and be Blackout. And we are also going to be Mr. Negative. So we're going to see Mr. Negative in the upcoming Spider-Man game on PlayStation 4. And it's definitely really cool to see him in Lego form. So that's awesome. I think a lot of people really appreciated that. This is part of the Cloak and Dagger DLC. Then you have Blackout here, who also uses some of the Dark Force that is used by... I love it when he goes invisible like that. Phases. But he uses the Dark Force that Cloak uses. Also, obviously, as part of the Cloak and Dagger DLC, we have Cloak. This is out now on Freeform. We are about 4 episodes in, maybe 5, and I haven't watched the most recent. I'll probably watch that at some point today. But you have, Tandy looking pretty cool, and you have what was Cloak's name? What was it? Tyrone Johnson. I knew that. I was just blanking. So, I love the way that the Dark Force kind of comes from him, especially when he goes invisible.
Going on down in the maintenance tunnels.
So, and then of course Tandy lights up, throws her daggers everywhere. So Cloak and Dagger, very, very underappreciated. I know a lot of people don't know a lot about these characters, but the DLC was actually pretty cool. And the TV show on Freeform, actually pretty cool as well. Not what you would expect from a Freeform show. Also as part of this, we have Nightmare. And we have Shroud.
If this part of New York was
Obviously, Nightmare was in the very first Lego Marvel Superheroes. He's really cool in this one because he actually, I think he can fly with his little horse thing. So he's got like this flying unicorn horse that's actually pretty dope. So you can't really complain about that. Definitely a cool portrayal of Nightmare, and a character I was kind of like, all right, whatever. They're putting another kind of rehash type character in. He also has this flaming sword, which is pretty dope. So, Shroud, I mean, he's a guy. Whatevs. There's also Silvermane, who's like kind of like a robotic style android character. He looks really cool. He definitely has really cool parts. So if you're gonna make yourself a created character, he does look pretty dope. I'm Nightmare. So there you go, Nightmare and Silvermane. Next up, we get into the Runaways DLC, and we have Alex Wilder, and we have Chase Stein. And I love that they didn't just reuse Chase Stein. They actually kind of redid him a little bit, because Chase Stein was in Lego Marvel's Avengers. And then you have Alex. I don't know if this is evil Alex. He doesn't really... He teleports. So there's that. So Alex and Chase. We also have Gert. And we have Nico Minoru. She's probably the most popular character of the group. And I love the fact that she's got like the dress and she can fly. So, Nico has been in quite a few things other than just the Runaways. Then there's Gert, who plays drums. So, Gert, obviously, the big thing about Gert is she has Old Lace, her pet raptor. So everybody loves having dinosaurs in the game. So anytime you get a dinosaur in here, it's pretty cool, man. So Gert has Old Lace. And next up we have Carolina Dean.
Maybe I should take a vacation.
And we have Molly Hayes.
I keep getting parking tickets. Honestly,
She's like super
public eye
strong.
was Inspiring to make some sort of profit from people parking.
And then Carolina, I love the way that she kind of transforms into like her color spectrum. And like even the transformation to go in between. Like that. It's so cool. So they definitely nailed it with her, like kind of the color spectrum that she goes through. So Carolina Dean and Molly Hayes brings us to the end of the Runaways DLC. Next up we have the ever controversial Avengers Infinity War style DLC. And this brings us, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best characters in the game, definitely by far and away. Not these two. We have the Ebony Maw, who I would say is one of the top 5 characters in the Infinity War movie, by the way. He absolutely was phenomenal. I love the way he talked. I love the way he like talked down to Doctor Strange and Tony Stark, and just like, you know, he definitely had an early exit, but whatever. Here we have Black Dwarf, aka Cull Obsidian, and he's your traditional big fig. These are the children of Thanos, the Black Order. Also in here, we have Corvus Glaive and his wife, Proxima Midnight. And they work together in the movie. And in the comics. They are legit husband and wife. So Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight. And then we had the 5th member of the Black Order. We had Supergiant. Now Supergiant is not in the movie. So I was a little curious to see that they did add her here. But I think it's cool. I love it when they have characters that are just not in the game at all. And I know a lot of people were upset. They wanted Bleeding Edge Iron Man. They wanted Iron Spider. You know, they wanted, you know, bearded Captain America. They wanted, you know, blonde Black Widow. There were a lot of characters that they could have done. But I'm cool with Supergiant. I mean, this is inspired by the Infinity storyline from Jonathan Hickman. Not necessarily the movie, but it does have the movie depictions of a lot of the characters. We did also get 2 sort of Avengers. It's kind of funny, the Hulkbuster armor. Spoilers if you haven't seen Avengers Infinity War yet, but it does not transform into Tony Stark, and that is because Tony is not the one that's wearing it. Somebody else is. I think we've all pretty much seen it at this point. And then last but not least, we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Groot. And I think in a lot of ways, maybe they just misjudged how much people were going to like this version of Groot. And, you know, Teenage Groot is pretty cool, and he does play a very prominent role for Thor. But still, I think a lot of people would have just rather seen Thor himself, you know? The new Thor looks dope, and, you know, I think people would have also rather seen a lot of the other characters I already mentioned. So, a little bit of a misfire, if you will, but it's all worth it for just this one character, Thanos. This is, quite frankly, one of the best figures they've done in any LEGO game. Thanos has his throne that he flies on. He has the Infinity Gauntlet. And he has this, like, just epic fist pound. Thanos is... I mean, they've done Thanos in Marvel games before, and they've done Thanos in LEGO games before. But this version of Thanos is... I don't know, man. It's probably my favorite figure. It's my favorite character in the game. And I say that full well knowing that I love Darkhawk, but, like, he makes Darkhawk, like... You guys know, if you followed, just how excited I was for Darkhawk. He makes Darkhawk seem underwhelming for me, you know? Like, he is just too cool. Love the chair, that classic chair from the very first Guardians movie, and he's just phenomenal. They just really nailed it with him, and very happy with him. So there you have it with Thanos. And that brings us to the final DLC, which actually comes out on Tuesday, July 7th, which it is Tuesday, July 7th, some places in the world as I record this video. Maybe not your part, but it will be soon. So here we have Ant-Man and the Wasp. Ant-Man and the Wasp is in theaters this Thursday for me. Other parts of the world it varies. And we have these two, the new tag team champions of the Marvel Universe. A new version of Ant-Man, the Wasp. This is the Hope Van Dyne version. And then, of course, we have the Scott Lang Ant-Man. So Wasp actually grows in this. And one of the cool things that they also did is they made it so that you can actually have two characters out that grow all the time. It used to be like a trick you had to do in order for that to happen, but they've actually made it so that you can just do that in general. So here you have the new movie costume for Ant-Man and the Wasp. There are two other characters that will grow as part of the DLC. We have Stinger, Cassie Lang, I should say. She has also been Stature in the comics. So we also have the new Giant Man, Raz Malhotra. So he looks a dead-on ringer for Giant Man. I mean, this is perfect. And then, you know, Cassie. They don't fly when they're in big form, which, I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. But hardly the only characters as part of it. We've also got some bad guys. We've got the Human Fly, who actually looks really cool. And we have Egghead. Now, I made a big deal about Egghead when I talked about the characters in the Ant-Man DLC. He is the character, like the boss, if you will, of the level pack for Ant-Man and Wasp. So it makes sense, even though he's kind of a stupid-looking character, and honestly, a stupid character in general, as far as I'm concerned. Next, we have Crossfire, who is actually Darren Cross, who was Yellow Jacket in the movie.
Does that mean
so
there's just a big hole
there you go.
where it used to be?
Full circle. I love. He makes the same face as Tulk.
I keep getting parking tickets. Honestly, you think
Love it.
to make some
So,
profit from people parking.
so yeah, the Human Fly. And last but not least, our last character is Ghost. And there are multiple versions of Ghost. This is the movie version, and there is also like a comic version. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I'm not going to judge
I should take a vacation.
the female character. No idea who it is. If I had to place a guess, it's going to end up being like Bill Foster's daughter. Bill Foster's being played by Lawrence Fishburne, and he was the original Giant Man or Goliath or Black Goliath, whatever you want to call him. So that's my uneducated guess. Probably wrong, but you never know. But yeah, there you go, guys. That is all the DLC characters in LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2. Again, we do not know if there is going to be an additional pack. I'll tell you what, if they wanted to do a bunch of X-Men characters and a bunch of Fantastic Four characters, I would be willing to pay for an extra DLC pack of select characters, aka Deadpool. Definitely Deadpool, hopefully. I would love to see Deadpool, the Fantastic Four, you know, Wolverine, Jean Grey, and I don't know. Just characters that we've probably already seen before, but, you know, a cleaned up newer version. So I don't necessarily need them to include anybody they haven't had yet. That way, once they do another game, they have a full roster of X-Men and Fantastic Four characters to choose from. Anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed the video. Definitely get the season pass if you haven't. We'll see ya.